Chapter 14, Sources of Energy. In class 9, we learned that the total energy during the physical or chemical processes is converse. Okay, what we have studied, that all the energy, whether a physical or chemical process is occurred. Okay, energy is what? Okay, conserved. Okay, energy will be conserved during the processes. Why then do we hear so much about the energy crisis? Then also we are hearing lot of energy crisis in our daily life or day to day life. Okay, if the energy can neither be created nor can be destroyed, we should have no worries. Okay, if the statement which are saying that energy can neither be created nor can be destroyed, then why we have to worry? Okay, then we should be able to perform endless activity without thinking about energy resources. Okay, so for that we are doing lot of activities depending on energy resources. This riddle can be solved if we recall what else we learned about energy. Okay, first we will study that what we have learned about the energy. Energy come in different form and one form can be converted to another. Okay, which we know it very well, that energy, okay, are coming from different forms or are in the different forms, and it will convert from one form to another form. Okay, so from that we can say that energy is converted from one form to another. Okay, and the statement was what? Okay, energy can neither be created nor can be destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to another. Okay, that was our statement. Okay, so here we have studied that only, that energy come in a different form and one form can be converted to another form. For example, if we drop a plate from the height, okay, if we are dropping a plate from certain height, what we are saying, a potential energy of the plate is converted mostly to the sound energy. Okay, what we are saying, that potential energy is converted to a sound energy when it hit the ground. Okay, when is hitting the ground, at that time what we are hearing, that sound will be formed, and that sound is said to be a sound energy. Okay, so here in this case you can see that potential energy is converted to a what? Okay, sound energy. Okay, if we light a candle, if we are lighting a candle, then the process is highly exothermic. Okay, we know it very well. On lighting the candle, we can see that exothermic process can be seen, so that the chemical energy in the wax is converted to a heat energy and light energy. Okay, the wax which is in the chemical form, which we say it is a chemical energy. Okay, so on lightening the candle, okay, what? Okay, wax will be melted and it will give heat as well as light. Okay, so heat which we say it as a heat energy and light which we say it as a light energy on burning. Okay, what other products are obtained when we burn a candle? Okay, same way, if we are burning a candle, which type of product can be seen? Okay, here we have studied two, that heat energy as well as light energy. Okay, the total energy during a physical or chemical processes remain the same, but suppose we consider the burning candle again. If we are considering what? Okay, burning candle again, we are considering that, can we somehow put together the heat and light generated along with the product of the reaction to get back to the chemical energy in the form of wax? Let us consider another example. Suppose we take 100 ml of water which have a temperature 348 Kelvin, which we say it is 75 degree Celsius. Okay, and leave it in a room where the temperature is 25 degree Celsius. Okay, what we are doing, that we are taking 100 ml of water which contain how much? Okay, 348 Kelvin temperature, which is 75 degrees Celsius, and we have leave it in a room temperature which contain 25 degrees Celsius or 298 Kelvin, what will be happen? Okay, is there any way to connecting all the heat, rose the energy and making the water hot once it has cooled down? Okay, once it will be cooled down. Okay, what we are saying, that making the water hot once it has cooled down. Why? Because at 75 degrees Celsius, water containing certain heat. But when we have placed in the room temperature, which are containing very much low than the water temperature, what we are saying, that heat get what, okay, transmitted to the room temperature and it will cool down, or water will be cooled down. Okay, so here we are seeing that only. Now, in another example, in any example that we consider, we will see that energy in the residual form is dissipated to the surrounding in less usable form. Okay, energy will be what? Okay, dissipated in the surrounding. Hence, any sources of energy we use to do work is consumed and cannot be used again. Okay, it will be consumed and it will not be used again once we have used. What is the good sources of energy? We can, or what can be then be considered a good sources of energy? How we can say that this is a good source of energy? We in our daily life use the energy from various sources for doing work. For doing work, we are using lot of. We in our daily life use energy from various sources for doing work. We use diesel to run our train. We use electricity to light our street lamp. Or we use energy in our muscle to cycle to school. Okay, we are using a lot of things. Okay, so all these things are the sources of energy. The muscular energy for carrying out physical work. Okay, for doing physical work, we are using which type of energy? Muscular energy. And electrical energy for running various appliances. Okay, which we are doing in our day-to-day life. Okay, that electrical energy are used for running many appliances. Same way, chemical energy for cooking food or running a vehicle all come from some sources. Okay, so all these things are chemical energy. We need to know how do we select the sources need for obtaining the energy in its usable form. Okay, how it can be used in the usable form. Okay, we have to study that only, that we are using lot of energy and all the energy are of different types. Okay, which we are using in our day to day life, and all of them are necessary in our daily life. Okay, so there is a lot of energy. Once again I am repeating, muscular energy which we are using for physical work. Okay, for physical work we are using which type of energy? Okay, physical work we are using muscular energy. Electrical energy which we are using for the appliances, chemical energy and cooking food. Okay, and same way. Okay, there is a lot of things which we are using in our day to day life. Okay, after going through the two activity, we can see that the particular sources of energy or fuel we select for performing some work depending on many different factors. Okay, there is a lot of factors which are affecting for performing things. For example, while selecting a fuel, we would ask ourselves the following question: how much heat does it release on burning? On burning, how much amount of heat will be released? Okay, that is also one of the thing. Now, does it produce a lot of smoke? Okay, second is what? Okay, lot of smoke. It would produce lot of smoke. Now, the third one is it easily available? And it should be what? Okay, easily available. Okay, so three factors can be seen. The first is what? Okay, how much amount of heat does it release when it burning? Okay, amount of heat is also necessary. Same way, does it produce a lot of smoke? Okay, what is the amount of the pollution, which is one of the pollution only, smoke? Okay, is it easily available? And it should be what? Okay, it should be cheap. Cheap means what? Should be easily available. Okay, so all these things should be necessary. Okay, so three factor we have to see, and on basis of that we can able to select our sources of energy. Can you think of the three more relevant questions to ask about a fuel? Given the range of a fuel we have today, what are the factors which will limit our choices when it comes to a particular task like cooking or food? Okay, when we are cooking our food, okay, particular task which we are using, would the fuel selected also depend on the work to be done? For example, would we choose one fuel for cooking and another for heating the room in winter? We could then say that a good sources of energy would one which will do a large amount of work per unit volume or mass. Okay, what we are giving? Okay, large amount of work per unit volume. Okay, amount should be less and the energy should be greater, or large amount of work. Work means what? Okay, amount of energy they are giving on working. Okay, on working it should give a lot of energy. Okay, amount should be less. Okay, sources of particular thing should be less but energy should be greater. Okay, that is the good enough for giving a lot of energy. Be easily accessible. Okay, should be easily accessible. Same way, be easy to store and transport, and it should be easy to what? Okay, storing is also necessary. Okay, it should be stored easily as well as transported easily, okay, from one place to another. That is also necessary. Perhaps most importantly, be economical. Okay, it should be what? Okay, it should be economical. Okay, that is also one of the important thing. Okay, so all these factors should be seen for having good sources of energy. Okay, then and only then we can get a proper amount of things. Now, conventional sources of energy. Okay, that is first what? Okay, fossil fuels. In ancient time, wood was most common sources of heat energy, which we are knowing very well. In ancient time, what we are using? Wood as one of the source of energy. The energy of flowing water and wind was also used for limiting activity. What? The energy of flowing water, that is also one of the important, and wind, okay, that is also one of the important, are used as a source of energy. Can you think of some of these uses? The exploitation of a coal as a sources of energy made the industrial evolution possible. Okay, industrial evolution should be possible by exploiting what? Okay, coal. By exploiting coal, okay, there is a lot of industrial revolution can be possible, because in industry there is a lot of use of a coal, okay, for getting a sufficient amount of heat and temperature, okay, for creating a product or making a product or manufacturing a product. There is a necessity of a energy, okay, which they are using in the form of coal. Increasing industrialization has led to a better quality of life all over the world. It has also caused a global demand for energy to grow a tremendous rate. The growing demand for energy was largely made by the fossil fuel. Okay, what? Okay, energy. If we talk about the energy, first in our mind strike was oil as well as many fossil fuel, okay, which is the important sources of energy. Okay, and which are very necessary in our life. Okay, whenever we are able to talk or whenever we are talking about the energy in our mind, first we strike, okay, first strike like a fossil fuel. fossil fuel will be strike in our mind. Okay, so and petroleum, okay, which are very necessary and using in our day to day life. Our technologies were also developed for using these energy sources. Okay, there is a lot of technology also using for energy sources. But these fuels were formed over millions of years ago, okay, which we are talking fossil fuel, okay, which have already formed what okay, after a millions of years it is forming. Okay, so it will take lot of time to preparing it. Okay, so and there are only limited reserve, okay, and there is only limited type of energy or limited energy are there in our environment. Okay, so we should conserve it and preserve it. So the fossil fuel are non renewable, okay, it cannot be now here you can see that, okay, that coal which have a lot of proportion. Okay, coal, okay, which have a larger amount of proportion. Petroleum and natural gases, okay, which have limited amount, okay, and the hydro, okay, which are there, okay, it have a sufficient amount. Same with nuclear, which are very less amount of that, and the last is wind. Okay, all these things are the sources for the energy. Okay, all these things, from these we will get a proper amount of energy. Okay, so we say it as a sources of energy. All these things are the one of the sources of energy. Okay, sources of energy, so we need to conserve them. Okay, so first we have to conserve them, okay, in our life. If we were to continue consuming these sources at such alarming rate, okay, we would soon run out of energy. In order to avoid this, okay, what we are using haphazardly, okay, the energy which are very limited amount we are using what, okay, haphazardly and continuously we are using, okay, blindly. Okay, blindly we are using this such energy, okay, which are very limited amount, okay, and its proportion are very less. Okay, so this should be what, okay, prohibited, and we should be punctual towards it. Okay, so alternate sources of energy were explored, but we continue to be largely dependent on fossil fuel. Okay, but then also there is a large of dependent on a fossil fuel, because fossil fuel is the important source of energy and it is very good, but it is very what, okay, it is non renewable, okay, and it proportion is very less. Okay, so it is also one of the important disadvantages. Okay, so it is one of the disadvantages that its proportion is very less and it is non renewable. For most of our energy requirement, burning fossil fuel has other disadvantages. Okay, now the second is what, okay, burning fossil fuel we learn in class 9 about the air pollution. In the air pollution, we can see that caused by the burning of coal and petroleum product, the oxide of the carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur that are released on the burning fossil fuel and acidic oxide, okay, are acidic oxide. This lead to the acid rain, okay, which we know it, okay, because of which acid rain are seen and affect our water and sources, soil resources. In addition to problem of air pollution, recall the greenhouse effect gas like carbon dioxide. Okay, all these things which we have already studied in class 9, that acid rain are formed or acid rain will be formed because of this air pollution. It is very hazardous. Okay, so the pollution caused by the burning fossil fuel can be somewhat reduced by increasing the efficiency of combustion process. Okay, we have to first increase the combustion process, due to which this process can be controlled, and using various techniques to reduce the escape of harmful gases and acids into the surrounding. Okay, so this should be reduced, due to which gases, harmful gases and acids should not be escape. Okay, and it should not pollute. Besides being used directly for various purpose in gas, stove and vehicle. Do you know fossil fuel are the major fuel used for generating electricity? So for generating electricity, fossil fuel is the one of the most important fuel. Let us produce some electricity at our own small plant in the class and see what goes into producing our favorite form of energy. Okay.
Good sources of energy. What is a good source of energy? Energy output per unit volume. The energy output per unit volume or mass of a good source of energy should be high. The gas in LPG cylinder can be used by a family of average size to cook food for about a month. To cook same amount of food using wood, we need a room full of wood. Steady availability. The energy source should be available readily and for a long time. Safe and easy to use. The source of energy has to be safe and easy to use. A fuel that produces a lot of smoke is not a good source of energy since it is not safe for people's health. A nuclear power plant is not easy to build and operate. Easy to store and transport. Most common sources of energy such as coal, petrol and LPG need to transport to users from their points of production. Economical. The source of energy has to be economical. Hydrogen is excellent fuel, but it is not widely used as it is costly to produce, store and transport it.